Today on Smackey's Garage, we're going to be installing underhood lighting for my F-150. Now this is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time because, you know what? There's a lot of times when I'm out working my truck when it's dark out, and having this extra light is nice. So we're going to be installing these parts from F-150 LEDs today on this 2018 F-150. So I've been wanting lights like this on my truck for quite a while. Part of the reason why is because when I do end up working on the truck, I do like having some extra light in the engine bay. A lot of the times when I'm working on it and it's getting dark out here, you know, it's really hard to see. So in this video, we're gonna go ahead and install these. Now these parts I got from F-150 LEDs. I'll make sure that I link them in the description below. So if you wanna check them out, you can as well. So let's go ahead, let's pop this hood open and start installing them. Okay, so in this kit we got everything we need. We have the two LED lights here. One's going to go in the front of the hood, one's going to go in the back of the hood. We have the switch. This is what's going to be what activates it, and when this is open it's going to close the contacts so that when the hood is open these lights come on. And then a bunch of zip ties to put it into place, the screw to hold this here, and then here's the entire wiring loom that we're going to run. So let's go ahead and see how we're going to get this on the truck. All right, so we got to go ahead and pick a place for installation. I think for mine, you know, light straight down is important. So there's going to be one here, and then I'm going to do one at the back as well. So for this one, we're going to go ahead and clean it up with the alcohol pad that they provided. And we're going to get the front one installed before we go ahead and get the back one installed. So here we go. Let's see, I'm going to take their alcohol pad, and I have never actually cleaned under here. So we need to make sure that this is cleaned up pretty well. And it is quite a mess. Probably should wash the hood first, but I cannot do that. Now, when I install these, I'm going to install them here. So across this. And I will say, before I put this on, one of the things that was important was actually to lay these flat for a little while and get the bend out of them, because they do come rolled up and you need to get that bend out of it before you install them, just to make sure that they don't fall off. Now I'm going to take this adhesive off the back. I'm going to get this as centered as I can. Now I'm going to hold it in place for like 30 seconds, just so that it sticks. Then I got to do the back one, which means I need to get back there somehow. I'm going to put it right at the edge of this, because I do want it pointing down. Now what they suggest doing is taking this adhesive here that they provide and then going around the outside of the light itself, around the edges, just to make sure that it stays in place. I think it's definitely a good idea to do because you don't want to end up with this thing falling into your belts or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to take care of that. I definitely cut this off a little bit too thick. Then I'm just going to go ahead and run these wires up and behind this. Now you can tuck them in, you can zip tie them. Probably makes the most sense to actually pull this down and then put this behind them so that they don't fall. These come out nice and easy as you see there. Just don't lose these in the engine, like I almost just did. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and get ready to wire this thing in. Before we do that, we're gonna go ahead and check it out. So the way this works is there's a positive and then there's a negative side. The negative side is fused. So the positive is going to go to the battery. And then this negative side is gonna go to this switch that we're gonna mount somewhere. Now, what I'm gonna have to do is find a place to mount this. Now, you need to put this in a place where it's making contact with the hood when it's closed. The way that this switch works is when it's pushed down, it's not making contact with the chassis, and then when you let go, it's making contact with the chassis. So while the hood is open, you're essentially shorting it to the chassis. When the hood is closed, this is not making contact and it's not working. So we're gonna go ahead and mount it. So I'm gonna be mounting this up here on the front of my truck by the headlight, and I believe that's where it's supposed to go on these trucks. The only thing that I do have to do is I do have to extend this wire a little bit. The black one isn't long enough, or the red one isn't long enough, whichever, to be able to reach where I want. So it has to go from here to back here. It does feel a little tight. I'm gonna add some extra wire to it. I tried to see if I can pull this back some and I didn't have any luck, so I guess, cutting, splicing, and adding a little bit of wire it is. So I've decided to do the black wire because I only have black wire. Go ahead and check my fantastic solder work before we go ahead and wire this in. Still works. Okay, now to install this, we're gonna go ahead and mount it right here on the body. And there's a spot right here where it's gonna go. You know it's gonna make contact because you do have this hood bumper here. So with that, we're just gonna be able to drill that hole. We're gonna use a 5/64 bit and then use this self-tapping screw that they gave us with it. All right, so with that there wired up, I'm gonna go ahead and put this on and check. Looks like it is working. So now I just gotta put this positive lead onto the battery and then I should be all set. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and zip tie everything up into position just so that it stays and the wiring is all cleaned up. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and back this out of the garage now, and then we're gonna go ahead and wait till nighttime, and we're gonna check to see how much light this actually gives us if we're working on the car at night or need to do something on the side of the road. So let's go ahead and let's cut to them. All right, so I got them installed and they look fantastic. They're super bright. They light up the engine bay so well, and you really can see everything that's going on in here. And I'll give you a few different shots of it at night so you can see just at different lights how bright it is, but just overall, it is significantly brighter than having no lights, and it really does help illuminate everything that's going on in this engine bay. All right, so let's look at it with the light off. Really pitch black, turn it on. You can actually see what's going on in here. Now, these things are awesome. They provide a lot of light in the engine bay, and it really helps me see in here at night when I'm gonna be working on something. And even when it's not night, it does help illuminate the engine bay a lot. And I think the other thing it shows is, I have a lot of cleaning to do of this engine bay because there's a lot of mess just everywhere. Well, that's it. This is definitely a nice mod to have on your truck. I'd almost argue that it's necessary. I really miss some of the older cars where you had lights under the hood that actually worked and gave you light when you needed it. So thanks for tuning into Smackey's Garage. Thanks to F150 LEDs for sending these parts to me. And if you want to go ahead and check them out for your truck, go ahead. They also have them for other vehicles like Broncos, F250, Super Duties, a lot of different Ford vehicles. So thanks for tuning in this week. I'll see you next time.